Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by The Best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off. If you've ever wondered, if you ever had a clue what would happen if Batman, the Avengers, the X-Men fought the 47 Ronin, you will have great hitting, power strikes, and speed. This event will be known as the North Texas Stick Fighting Championships. It's open to all martial artists. This is where legends are formed, where they're forged, where they are founded. Sign up now. Call the number 956-401-4868 and look up the website at www.savate.biz. So remember, this is for serious martial artists. If you're not serious, sit back and whisper about the event. If not, we'll see you there.
Off. I'm Professor Buitrón. I'm here sitting down with Webb County Commissioner candidate Dwight Dillman. How are we doing?
Not bad, Paul. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming back, and thanks for having that conversation we had the other day, because it woke me up a little bit, and I'm glad that you're here and we're going to express a little things about it.
Well, first, I want to say I want to send my condolences and prayers out to the people in El Paso and up in Dayton, Ohio.
Of course.
My family is very saddened by that. But you got to understand, these kids, these men, and I'm not counting these two, I'm counting all of them. All these shootings of these kids, these young men, there's been red flags on all of them. Why isn't it getting picked up by our social workers? Why isn't it getting picked up by our school counselors and our teachers and our parents? What's wrong with the parents today? I mean, is it getting to the point where, they just give them their credit cards and say, go to the mall, leave me alone. Here's some money, go away. Look at the two boys over in Italy that stabbed that police officer. Them boys are gonna go to jail over there for life.
Of course. It's interesting how what you're saying about the social workers and everybody else and about red flags, and we'll talk about red flags. And there's a lot of people talking about all the different spectrums. Some people say this was orchestrated. Some people say that this was done to shut up certain things that are in the media right now.
I don't believe that.
To me, it's like there's so much hate in the United States. The hate was there before. and they're just pointing a finger at somebody else to express their hate. Understand?
Yeah.
It's not like I hate the neighbor because he has a dog. Now it's I hate the neighbor's dog because our president make me hate the neighbor's dog. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now the hate that's always been there is now pointed at somebody else that's doing good. This is not the president's fault. This is not anything to do with the president. Whatever the media is saying, it's not. These are two sick individuals that went out and committed.
It's these young men's fault.
You're absolutely correct.
And why blame it on other people when it's their fault? That one in Dayton, Ohio, I actually believe he wanted to kill his sister.
He killed his sister.
Yeah, he did. And I think she was the main target in that shooting. And he wanted to cover it up by shooting other people. He was mad at his sister. Why? These kids today, you know, they have problems in elementary school, so they feed them full of drugs, these ADD drugs and these antidepressants, and kids are kids. You start giving them these medications when they're young, it warps their minds. And they have no control over themselves.
You're absolutely right.
And then they get to watching these video games and stuff on television because they have nothing better to do, so that's what they do. And this stuff gets embedded in their brains because of these medications. And I'm not blaming it all on that. A lot of it has to do with their parents. Why are you putting your kids on these drugs? Kids are kids. Set them in the corner. Or go back to old school and give them a good spanking. Control your children. I mean, that's the basics of it. And when you start feeding them drugs at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old when they're in elementary school because they don't want to sit still, then send the kid to the principal. Send the kid to the guidance counselor. Find out what's wrong with this kid. Why doesn't he want to sit down? Why doesn't he want to learn? Just don't feed him full of drugs and dope him out and set him in there to where he's sitting there in a stupor, and he's not going to learn anything then either.
You know, we have a problem, and especially we have way too many kids that are on prescription drugs.
Yeah.
Then they go out there and they get into peer pressure, and they're already on a prescription drug, and then all of a sudden they start doing illegal drugs
And mixing them together.
and mixing them together, and the side effects are phenomenally. It's gone.
Yeah.
I learned from watching. Many of us do by experience in life. I did not know how to be a parent, so the closest things was that I had good parents. I have uncles and stuff, and we started understanding how to raise our children.
Family development.
Understand what I'm saying? We do not have those programs anymore. They're no longer offered.
Because
What you said,
everybody
family-
has to work 2 or 3 jobs. Both parents are working. They don't have time for their kids. When they come home from work, they're tired. They're stressed out. They just want to eat, watch a little TV, and go to bed. The kids are there, running around, teenagers, being teenagers. So the parents end up, well, here's my credit card, go to the mall.
You're correct.
And
Yeah.
give them all this money. They're what was that one kid that did that accident and killed them kids, and he was too affluent. He was too privileged. So he can't stand trial for this because he's too privileged.
The sadness is we have victims on all sides, and everybody's pointing a finger. And that hate towards our leader, and he's doing an excellent job, the hate towards our leader has gotten overwhelming when you have congressmen and public officials saying, don't come to El Paso, we don't want you here.
Well, he just said the other day, he
He's
said
going.
this morning on the news, I'm going to El Paso.
And people need to understand and respect the public officials that we have. Now, everybody jumped on the bandwagon and everybody wanted to do their 15 minutes of spiel of this is why I'm running for president, and everybody's there.
Yeah.
Shooting the same spiel, and everybody now wants more gun control. We have excellent gun control laws.
It just needs to be enforced.
Well,
We have enough gun laws.
What I'm trying to get at is, now they're trying to pass red flag bills and red flag laws. The only thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna form people or committees by who knows who's gonna appoint them to point the finger at somebody that, guess what, you did not like the gay parade that we have, so now you're against it, now you're crazy,
You're in
we're labeling you crazy,
And you're in trouble.
and you're in trouble. Now they're gonna come to your house, knock on your door, and
Want to take your guns.
they're gonna do that. They're gonna
That's
search you,
it.
and they're gonna throw you in jail, and then you're gonna have to.
That's
and
it.
That's what's
Whether
gonna
you
end up
did
happening.
anything or not.
That's what's gonna happen. Look at what happened with our president. You had I think he was an admiral, and he was a surgeon, and they were trying to tell him that our president was loony before he became president. Remember that?
Yes.
And they tried to remove him. That's a red flag right there. And he said no. Number one, I'm not a physician. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not gonna say my neighbors over there are doing something wrong. I do not know what they're doing wrong. Maybe he's fixing his car for all I know, and he has the right to fix his car outside. So I'm not gonna be pointing the finger at somebody just because I hate him or dislike his politics. And that's where this is going. What do you believe?
Here's one thing I gotta say about the president. I respect this man totally. I was in the military. He's rebuilding our military. This deal with China, our stock market's about to take a big crash. I mean, it's about to take a dive. It's coming. But we have a man, China has been taking advantage of the United States for years. Look at Walmart. Here's an example. When Sam Walton built Walmart, he went into these cities and towns and convinced the city councils and everything, if you help me build a Walmart here, everything is sold in Walmart will be made in the United States. Everything. And when Sam Walton was alive, that's the way it was. Everything was built in the United States that he sold in his stores. When he died and the kids took over, they built manufacturing plants in China. They've got sea containers out back that their employees live in. And they pay them on the chip formula, the way the old coal miners used to get paid back in the 1900s, early 1900s, to where they may end up at the end of the week getting $2 or $3 because they pay their rent on their sea container that they live in out back. They buy their groceries at the plant, which has a store there. They buy their groceries there on credit. They buy their cigarettes. They buy everything they buy is through Walmart plant. They live there. They get paid in chit. In other words, if you want to go and get a loaf of bread, here's my chit. Okay? Take it out of my check at the end of the week. And Walmart has been taking advantage of the United States tax laws for so many years. Everything that's in Walmart now is made in China because it's made in their plant that they own. He is trying to force these companies back to the United States. And that's the only way you're going to do it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And look at your phone, okay? That phone was originally designed and built here in the United States. It got took to China, they reverse engineered it. They're building it cheaper than what it can be built here in the United States.
For sure.
And your television, anything that you get from China was originally designed and built here. And now they've took it and they're making the benefits and the profits off of it. And they should have to pay for that. Everything that Walmart sells in their stores comes from out of the country. Everything, the meat, the produce, the clothes, the jewelry, everything, the lawnmowers, everything that's in there is built out of this country. And he's forcing Walmart to fess up. And I'm glad of it.
How would that combine itself into the community of Webb County? What would you try to do as a commissioner?
Well, that's just like down in the valley.
Okay.
Okay, the valley put a thing out for industry to come to the valley. Okay, to McAllen, and they were expecting to get 13, 15 responses. They got 400 and some responses of companies that want to come and build there. Why can't we do that? Why aren't we developing industry here, manufacturing? We have the transportation going through here. How many of these companies that are in Mexico would want to build a plant here to supply parts for their companies in Mexico?
Not only Mexican companies, but companies in general.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
McAllen, the valley, has been eating our lunch for a very long time.
They're going to take a lot of stuff.
And they're going to take a lot of things away from Webb County and Laredo.
Yeah.
And if we do not step up the ball game
And a lot of
start
people,
marketing the Webb County and Laredo, then we're going to lose that. And I think that's where we are lacking. What would you do when you get inside, or if you get inside and elected? What are you going to do? What are you going to propose to go inside and do?
well, first of all, I think the city, if the city doesn't want to do it, the county needs to step up and get a reliable source of clean drinking water. Get a reliable source of water. And they don't understand that we could take that water from the Ball, or whatever county that is, the north of us up here, that has the aquifer with Dimmitt. We could be the main supplier for clean, processed water from here to the valley. Bruni has arsenic in their water. They could be the first step. You don't think they would want to clean up their water systems? Look at how many little small towns and how many small communities there are between here and the valley that don't have good clean water or a secondary water source to help them out, that would donate and help pay for this by buying their rights to this pipeline that goes to the valley. It's unbelievable that we can't do that. I think everybody in Webb County, we're in a time that you shouldn't have to worry about the water you're drinking. You shouldn't have to worry about that you'd have to haul it to fill a tank out in your backyard to be able to have water in your house. Everybody in the United States today should have clean, reliable drinking water. We're not a third world country. I mean, come on. We pay just as much taxes out there as everybody else does. And we need to start creating jobs. We need to start thinking of the future. Wind energy. Yeah, there's a lot of wind going on down here, but it's privately owned, and they have no say on where the power goes. They just collect their rent check for their land every month and get their free electricity and have a nice day. Well, the county has land all over the county. Why don't we put some windmills up and sell the electricity to Medina or CP&L and see if we can reduce the power rates and the bills for the people in Webb County?
You see, the land what I understand about the land, that if anything happens, it goes to reducing the taxes on the schools of Webb County, the school districts of Webb County. It'll benefit us a lot.
Sure.
But as you're walking door to door and talking to people, what are the concerns of Webb County when you talk to them? What do they tell you?
Basically, it's they think the government in Webb County and Laredo doesn't care about them. They just feel that they have an existence and that's it, you know. They live, die, and pay their taxes, and yeah, what are they doing for me? Nothing. What are they doing for themselves? Getting rich. Well, that's not the way the county should be. That's not the way the government should be. Government people are, the elected officials are elected by the people to serve the people. Not the other way around. We don't serve them. They serve us. They make good money to pass laws and do things for the people. We need to go back to basic government. Work for the people. Get them the utilities they need. Get them the roads and infrastructures that they need. Take care of the people, take care of the county. And the government will take care of itself.
How's your campaign coming along? What do you see here when you first jumped into it to now? What do you see?
My biggest thing right now is money. I don't know what happened to my tax check, which is what I was going to use to pay my entrance fee, which is $12.50, to be able to run. I have to pay $1,250 to the Republican Party. And where my tax check went, I don't know, but I haven't got it yet. And when I try to get hold of my tax lady, she don't answer me. And I don't know if you saw the message I put up on Facebook the other day or not, but you know, she won't answer my phone call, she won't answer my text, she won't answer my messenger on Facebook, so I put it right on Facebook.
Sure.
You need to talk to me. You need to tell me where my money's at. Because it's getting close to November, I need to pay that.
Understood.
I need to get my signs ready, which was going to pay for that. I was wanting to put on a dance, I was going to pay for that to generate money.
Money for your campaign.
Yes. And of course people tell me, well, start a fundraiser on Facebook. No. I don't know if I can or not, but I don't want to take that chance. I have to know who gives me the money. I have to know how much they give me. I have to have their name and their address and their phone number and write it on my finance reports. I don't want to be like these guys. I want to be right. I want to be legal. I want to be correct. I don't want to go to jail because I took money from somebody that I shouldn't have took money from. And if you open an account on Facebook fundraiser, you don't know who's putting money in that account. And it could be somebody that, well, you know, I get elected. It could be I gave you $2,000 in your campaign fund, you owe me. Where did you give it to me from? Well, I put it in your Facebook account. How do I know that? And I don't want to take money from somebody that is going to come to me and say, you owe me. I don't know anybody anything.
You're ethical. That's a hard one, but you probably end up with it. Let's touch base on the Republican Party. Are the Republican Party of Webb County helping you?
I go to the meetings and I talk, and people were kind of responsive. But the Webb County Republican Party could not do anything for me until after the primary. In case somebody else comes to the Republican Party and wants to run against me, if they help me now, that's showing bias to him or to her, whoever.
Fair enough.
To be fair. So until after the primary and I become the nominee for the Republican Party could not do anything for me.
That's fair.
Except let me stand up at the meetings and talk. And that's another thing. I want to invite everybody. It's the last Friday of every month. We have a meeting at L&F Distributors. We usually have some dinner and some drinks and stuff. And come on out and listen to us. Listen to what we need. You know, listen to what we're planning. Listen to what we're working on. because we want to make change in Webb County. And we're not going to be able to make change. And the biggest problem is, I mentioned this on Facebook and got a lot of activity on it, was we've got Republicans that are running under the Democratic Party because they know they can't get elected under the Republican Party, so they go to the Democratic Party, and they're actually Republicans, but they're paying money to the Democratic Party to help them, which is going against their own beliefs in the Republican Party. And they're giving money to the Democrats who they should be working against. Or not against, but with. But why lie to the people?
That's been going on in Laredo for a very long time. The problem is
because they're friends. And their friends go with their friends, no
maybe,
matter what party they're in.
and you're absolutely correct on that end. What happens is that the Republican Party here has really been neglected, in shambles for a very long time. The only person that tried to kind of pick it up, and it kind of went okay, was when Jim Belmontes was Republican chair.
Yeah.
And things kind of panned out. But before that, you had a Mr. Cantu, and that was a shambles.
And Randy did the best he could with what he had to work with.
And Randy just kept it alive.
But Randy was involved in a lot of other things.
So we can't pass blame on anybody.
Right.
We have a lot of conservatives that don't want to sign in as Republicans, because here your businesses will be blackballed.
Yeah. And Bill took over a mess.
So he's an excellent guy, and I think with some changes, you're not going to see that much now, but in the future, I think you're going to see a lot moving forward. Maybe next election term, maybe it's going to have a little bit more momentum. You can't pick, I'm not saying the Democrats as well, you can't pick people that are going to lose all the time and have the same ideas to make people lose all the time.
Exactly.
You have to start winning somewhere along the line.
Yes.
The comparison that I'll make will be, you have some boxers that started out and they lost their first couple of bouts, and all of a sudden they became world champions.
Right.
Okay?
Because they kept trying.
They kept trying. But here they keep doing exactly the same thing over and over. And the Republican Party, I posted this the other day, of Texas in general, they have some good candidates running. Then all of a sudden they'll put somebody of their friends to run against them, and then kills the whole thing, and they lose, and it becomes a Democrat.
Well, that's where the Democrats are doing this year.
And so
they've got this woman that's running against Henry Cuellar in the Democratic side, and she's being backed by the same people that backed AOC or whatever.
Congresswoman
Cortez. And these other Muslim women that are in the Congress right now. And she is being backed by them. And she's got a pretty deep pocket. She's going to spend a lot of money because she's got it from these guys. And we don't need another person that's backed by this group.
We need people that are going to be true to their word.
And honest to the people.
People are tired of electing Bible thumpers, and then they go up there and they're holier than thou, and all of a sudden they pass laws that remove rights, remove what people are fighting for. We don't want the Bible thumpers. We don't want those that say that God told me to run. We don't want those that all of a sudden say, you know what, Mohammed told me to be here because no, you're here as an American.
Yep.
Let's start doing stuff for Americans.
Yes.
Let's take the hyphen out. Let's remove religion from government.
Yep.
Religion has no place in government.
Well, you're right.
Understand?
And it was supposed to have been taken out a long time ago. Church and state. It was separated. It should have stayed that way, but it's not. It's coming back around, but it's not the Christian faith that's bringing it back around. And that's the sad point. And, okay, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. And I believe that Jesus Christ will save my soul. And I talk to him every day.
Sure.
I do not go to church.
Sure.
I hold my own church right here. Because the churches, and don't get me wrong, there's people that need to go to church every Sunday and every Wednesday. I believe in that. My sister was that way. She needed that hype. She needed that man to tell her that she's doing good. When I went in the military, that's how we based our weeks in basic training, is we go to church on Sunday. And when you go to a church that doesn't have to have money raised by their sermons and try to implant in your head that your church needs your money. When you go to a church that tells you what religion's all about and how it's going to save your soul, it doesn't have to try to get in your pocket. Then you'll get true religion. Then you'll find out what God's all about. I went to church every Sunday and Wednesday when I was growing up with my parents and with my mom and my grandparents. But when I went to the military, I learned what religion really was. Because it's your brotherhoods. It's what binds you. And when I came back from the military and I went to church, it was all about how the church needs more money from me. How the church needs new windows, or we need a new bus, or we need a new car, or we need this, we need that. And I've went to a couple of churches here, and I told the pastors, look, this is the deal. As long as you talk church to me, I'll be here. But the first time you come to me and want me, I've already got it in my head what I'm going to put in that plate.
No, you're absolutely correct. And I grew up in Roman Catholic Church. I grew up going to church. I grew up following that. And then I saw the whole hypocrisy of the whole entity. And that made me, I pray. My kids want to go to church, we go to church. But I still do not, because of my beliefs as a Roman Catholic and a Christian.
And you pay your tithes.
I do not say, these are my beliefs and this is the way you all should be passing government.
That's it.
Understand? We need government to be equal and on the level to everybody.
That's it.
And it's not that way.
And that's the way church should be.
Right. So when we separate those two, that's what America was founded on, because America was running away from that, the first patronage that was going on. So it was taken away. So when I'm getting back at, everybody has to be on the level. What was said yesterday about the shootings and how they want certain laws to change, certain bills to pass, certain red flag bills to go into play. Nobody's going to be on the level anymore. You're going to bring out what you're trying to stop in hatred and bigotry and prejudice. You're going to bring it out on those bills, and it's going to be danger in the future for everybody, because nobody's going to be on the level.
We'll put it this way, Paul. I was in Vietnam. I know what an assault rifle does. I've killed people with it. I know what they do. I've seen it. I don't think the common everyday person needs an assault rifle. I think assault rifles should be banned. I was a firm believer in hunting when I was growing up. My grandfather taught me how to hunt. He taught me gun safety. He taught me, and I still have guns, don't get me wrong. But a normal hunter, a normal person for self-protection does not need an assault weapon to do this.
Well, I'm going to take away the term assault, okay? Because assault can be done with anything.
That's it.
Okay, so let's take away the term assault.
Well,
I'm a hunter.
we'll put it this way. That's just like they passed this law in Texas, the brass knuckles and...
The brass knuckles
and
are in September 1st. Brass knuckles are going to be legal in the state of Texas.
That's an
Now-
assault weapon too.
That, it depends on how you use it.
If you really wanna term it that way.
Yeah, it's exactly right. That is it was taken off the law to bring it back. I do not know the reasons why, but now it changes self-defense in a different entity, okay?
I think the
So-
government wants us to be able to protect ourselves.
I believe so, but I also believe in our rights should not be infringed
That's
in the
it.
Second Amendment. Now, I'm a hunter, as you can see, I'm a hunter,
Well,
okay?
I was too until I went to Vietnam.
I love hunting. I hunt with a pistol. If you see most of my hunting rifles, they're single shots.
Sure.
People say, oh, you need to get an AR-15 or AR-15 type. I do not like the AR-15. I don't own an AR-15. I own an AK-47 because I bought it and I have it and I plinker with it when we go to the ranch. I've killed a couple of pigs with it and I put it away. You have to understand that a gun is a tool,
That's it.
but you also
And
have
it
to
takes the
understand
respect of the
how,
person handling it.
and if people need to understand that evil is evil.
That's it.
And people need to understand that these guys that committed these horrors got their guns how?
Illegally.
Illegally. So if marijuana and it's illegal in the state of Texas and cocaine is illegal in the state of Texas, then because it's illegal, we should not have the drug problems that we have.
But we
and
do.
and when we do, because people are gonna get it anyway. You know, coming back to it, people are gonna say, no, you're crazy, you're this, you're that. No, let's stop. The problem that I have is how easily they brought the hate towards one man who's leading this country out of what the last 8 years were,
Yeah.
because of these two jamokes that caused this incident out of hate, and it's his fault, and everything else was blamed on him. That is wrong.
Yes.
Secondly, you had an individual that drove from Allen, Texas to El Paso at 650 mile stretch.
900.
Understand, more than 9 hour drive, 10-hour drive. And you have him going with a clean manifesto. That's the red flag that raises a flag on
He
me.
had it in his mind what he was going to do before he even
And he
left
said,
Allen,
and he
Texas.
said he sent it, okay, a manifesto, very cleanly typed, more so than, very well written, more so than the guy could write. Drives to El Paso to shoot Mexicans at a Walmart in El Paso. Jesus, you have so many Walmarts in the metroplex of Dallas that you can't count on. You can't. It's probably the place that has more Walmarts in the whole country.
We'll put it this way.
And there's a hell of a lot more Mexicans probably in the metroplex
Allen than
than
there is
there's in
El
Paso. So you're looking at the whole scenario here. It doesn't make
Here's the
sense.
deal. The cops in Dallas would have killed him. The cops in El Paso are more or less like the cops we have here in Laredo. And I praise the cops we have here. Don't get me wrong. They do a fine job. And I've been stopped by police. I drove 5 million miles in my career. And I've been stopped all over this country. And there's some ignorant police officers in this country that think that badge and that gun give them the rights to do a lot of things that they don't have the rights to do.
You're absolutely
But the one
correct.
thing I gotta say about the officers that have stopped me here in Laredo, and I used to drive an F-250 crew cab,
Sure.
and they'd stop me all the time to see if it was my truck or not. They stopped me a lot. And they always treated me with respect.
Most police officers that are on walking the beat, the first responders, you all are doing a hellacious job.
Yeah, they are.
Keep doing what you're doing. People are not against you.
And I think they need more help here.
And what happens is, what occurred in this incident, of this horror that occurred, was that the lieutenant governor made a comment on Saturday, and he straightforward said, Antifa, stay out of Texas.
Yeah.
I think there's more to it than that. I think this was Antifa driven.
Yep.
Antifa is not white supremacy. It's not. It's totally two different entities,
You know,
because if
I
you
read-
look in Antifa,
I read an article the other day about Antifa. Do you know who their biggest supporter is? Soros.
of course, Bernie Sanders as well.
Soros hates the United States.
Sure.
He's behind Antifa. He's, believe it or not, he's involved in KKK. He's involved in anti-Semitism. He's involved in a lot of stuff. And he owns a lot of drug companies.
What I'm getting at is you have a person that's white supremacist. White supremacy is what is being targeted
Oh.
now. And I hate the KKK and everybody
Oh,
else
me
and
too.
Aryan Nation. I think you guys are a
Me
bunch
too.
of idiots.
They are.
But what I'm getting at here is this man or this guy that drove from the killer
Mhm.
from Allen, Texas to El Paso, he's Jewish.
I didn't know what religion he was.
Okay? It came out in an article. He's Jewish. His father is a big time psychiatrist
Oh.
that is part of the something of John, which is a pedophile ring that came out of Brazil and so on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff here that it doesn't add up anymore, and now everybody's going after white supremacy. They removed Antifa, which is the ones that we're after. This is the ones that both killers were connected to.
Mhm.
Antifa threatened to go to El Paso and start their against the Border Patrol 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You have a rhetoric that's going on by people in Congress to stand up and rebel, to stand up and start killing in Congress. You have
Yeah.
Congress women saying that they want the assassination of our president, and nothing has been done.
And they want to put all white men in chains and put them on their knees. Why do you think these white guys are standing up for that?
Where does
They
the
need
hate
this
come
stuff
from?
too.
Where does the hate come from? The hate is not coming because of a red hat. The hate not coming because of the red, white, and blue. The hate has always been here. The fabric of fellowship and of peace was torn in the United States a long time ago. He's the only one that's trying to mend it, but people are so, and this is a question I'm gonna throw people out there, and I hope you can put it out there. Name me the one time, not 10, not 5, not 20,
One.
the one, just one, that our president said a racist comment for. Please
I've
do
never
not.
heard him.
I never heard him, and I've heard that people say, "Oh, he said that about Mexicans." He didn't say anything about Mexicans. So please tell me the one time. Write it down there.
Well, that's just like the other day on Facebook. I had a woman come after me and call me racist. And I'm stirring up hate and discontent and violence and everything in my posts and stuff like that. And I said, where do you find that? Where do you come off on me calling me a racist?
Because that's the narrative that's being said. You see,
I'm
that
probably
is
the
the
only
engine.
white man she's got on her Facebook page.
When you get people that are into that and they're saying that, they have no argument. And now everybody is, you're racist, you're a bigot, you said something this, you're a Trump supporter, I hate you.
Well, that's
And you're like, okay, whatever.
Here's the deal, Paul. And it's like I told her, I'm going to make one more statement on this, and I'm done with this. Okay. My mom moved me from a 99.9% white community when I was born and raised in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. I never even saw a black person until I was probably 7 years old or 8 years old. We moved, when I was in the 3rd grade, we moved to Newcastle, Pennsylvania, into a 99% black neighborhood for the next probably 9 years. That's where I lived. 90% of my friends were black, okay, because I lived in their neighborhood. They accepted me as a friend. When I was in the military, probably 50 to 70% of the people that were my friends in the military were black, Hispanic, of a foreign nation. It didn't matter to me, color is no exception to me. We're all one race, we're all human beings. I treat people with the same respect. The only thing I ask is you treat me with the same respect that I treat you, okay? If you feel that I'm degrading you or whatever, hell, I'm married to one of the most prettiest Mexican women you've ever seen in your life, and she's from Mexico. I got her citizenship. So where am I racist?
Absolutely, and see, people are now labeling the racist, the bigot, and everything to what? First, white supremacists. So now everybody that's white or Caucasian or what is it now? It's very simple to switch the lingo. It's very simple to all of a sudden, it's going to be, if you're a conservative, you're going to be the one that's going to be flagged. And that red flag bills are going to be danger to the Republicans that are running. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, see, we'll put it this way. I think the only reason she's calling me a racist is because of some of the statements that I make about Muslims. Okay? Not all Muslims are bad, but if they read that Quran and they live by the Quran, it only takes one of them to stick a stick in there and stir that pot up, and they're all radicalized. All of them. Okay? All it takes is one to stick that stick in there and stir it up. Okay? I don't care about Muslims. I don't care what they do. Don't enforce it. Don't, that's just like gays. I have nothing against gay people. I have nothing against other faiths or other ethnicities. As long as you treat me with respect, I'm going to treat you with respect.
And that's the way it should be. That's why it's so important that in the United States, we elect people that understand that church and state, there's a division.
Yeah.
Because once you stand under your Bible thumper, or your Quran thumper, or your Torah thumper, or your enlightened book of Haji from whatever,
Buddhism or
whatever.
Yeah.
Once you go in there thumping,
that religious group is.
You should be out.
You should be out. You're done.
so government is government, and that's just the way it should be.
And
Your beliefs
if you're
and everything else,
elected,
that's
and
right.
if you're elected by the people, you should work for the people and get the people what they need. That's 90% of the things that I'm hearing out here today, when I go and talk, is people are dissatisfied with the services that our government is giving them. The government does not work for themselves. The government does not work for the city. It doesn't work for the county. It works for the people. And if you take care of the people,
correct.
you take care of the people, you will take care of the county, and you will take care of the city by itself. It all works the same. It all works together. You take care of the people, you'll take care of the city. You'll take care of the county. That's it, point blank. Give the people what they need.
On another note, because we went in here, we started off with bullying, and we kind of transcended to kind of explain where we're heading at. Let's go back to your campaign.
Okay.
If you do not come up with the funding, what are you going to do?
I'll go take a loan out. I'm not done. I mean, I don't have millions of dollars. I didn't marry into millions of dollars. I've got a little ranch that's bought and paid for. My trucks are bought and paid for. I pay my bills. I take care of myself. I've got enough money to pay the entrance fee. I've got enough money to do a little signage. I got enough money. But if I really want to get out and advertise, put on the fundraisers, put on the plate sales, put on a dance, put on what the people expect me to do, I need help. If I don't get that help, I'm not going to be able to get my plans out. I'm not going to be able to get to the voters. I'm not going to be able to tell them what I've got in my mind on how I can help the county, how I can bring jobs here, how I can bring industries here that they wouldn't even think of. And it would create more jobs and more entertainment and more things for them to do every weekend or every week. It's amazing. And it's there. All we have to do is go after it.
Well, thank you for standing up. Anything else you'd like to tell the folks out there?
Look me up on Facebook. You got my phone number on there. I've got it on several sites. You can, if you want to get in touch with me, and call me. That's my cell phone. You always have it. If you want to discuss problems in the county, call me, talk to me. If you want to help me out with my campaign fundraising, fine, call me. I'd appreciate the help.
Folks, again, until next time, be careful out there. It's still summer.
There's one more thing I
Go
want to
ahead.
say. Here's the biggest thing I want to try to do. I want to work with Pancho Caso on his referendum, on his petition he wants to put together to eliminate the homestead county taxes for people 65 and older and disabled. That's only 16% of the budget. We can make up 16%. But we need to keep our elderly in their homes. They don't have to worry about losing their homes to taxes. They've paid their dues. It's time for them to lay back and relax a little bit.
It's a good topic, and we'll touch base and with Mr. Caso and see and him and maybe a couple of you all that are behind that to come out here and explain that to the folks. How about that?
That'd be fine. I'd be more than glad to explain my plans on it.
Thank you once more for standing up. And folks out there, be careful. The little guys are still out there, still summer. Next week, the school starts, and guess what? Let's stop.
Watch the school buses.
Exactly right.
My wife drove school bus here in Webb County for 3 years, and every day there was somebody always running past the school bus stop signs. You're not in that big a hurry. Watch the children.
And quit texting and driving in the morning.
Yes.
You know, here in Hillside, there's always an accident. Every morning there's an accident here. Why? Because people are speeding, and guess what? They hit somebody else.
And watch out for kids. Thank you.
Peace, prayers to El Paso,
yes,
and Dayton, Ohio.
and everybody.
Folks, and everybody, let's just keep the peace. Remember, hate it's always been there. Evil has always been there. So let's try to be nice to one another.
Live together.
And remember, for those of you all that say, if I want to stop this, and if I would have been there, I would have done this. Listen, the best thing you can do is, if you have a concealed handgun license, start carrying it.
Yes.
Because I firmly believe that the only way you stop an evil man with a gun is a good man with a gun.
That's right.
Or else we wouldn't have police officers, which are good men with a gun.
And
But-
more gun control, more gun laws aren't going to satisfy this.
No,
okay?
it's not. And it's not going to stop it either.
Because if an evil person or a bad person wants to get a gun, they'll get it, no matter what.
Absolutely.
So-
So that's tips on board. Till next time. Peace.
If you've ever wondered, if you ever had a clue what would happen if Batman, the Avengers, the X-Men fought the 47 Ronin, you will have great hitting, power strikes, and speed. This event will be known as the North Texas Stick Fighting Championships. It's open to all martial artists. This is where legends are formed, where they're forged, where they are founded. Sign up now. Call the number 956-401-4868 and look up the website at www.savate.biz. So remember, this is for serious martial artists. If you're not serious, sit back and whisper about the event. If not, we'll see you there. Gloves Off is always on point. On point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.